Well, more than 3 years ago, Marie Colvin, the Sunday Times war correspondent, was killed while covering the Syrian war. She was in Homs. Her remains were repatriated, and it turned out that she was carrying a 387-page manuscript in her bag. It was for a book called Gospel Prism that has been published today. Its author is Gerald Weaver, who was a close friend of hers for over 40 years. Now, he's got a remarkable life story of his own. He was once the youngest chief of staff in Washington at just 25 years of age. He got caught up in a drugs-related scandal a number of years ago, which led to him spending 16 months in prison. This book, Gospel Prism, it's his first book, and he does credit Marie with making the book happen. I got to speak to him and asked him, where did he first encounter Marie?
I met her at a party at university when we were both at Yale, and she stood out because she was very vibrant, unconventional, passionate, and bold and irreverent. So I was quite interested in her. That was all evident from her, the sparkle in her eyes too, although she looked quite different then than she did later in her life. She had a riot of brown curls and she wasn't rail thin. She was a bit of a tomboy, if you know what that is.
So that was the first time you met her. And what relationship developed?
It was the 70s, and we were, I guess you could say, boyfriend and girlfriend in those days, although it wasn't as serious because that was a different time. And then after college, we dated more exclusively and seriously. I have to say, again, on and off for a few years.
So you were very young, actually, when you first met.
Very young, yes.
You said that there was a conversation that the two of you had that changed your life.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things we shared that people don't know about her is that she was a bookworm. She read very much. She always had a book with her. So we talked about books, we talked about my experience, and then she came up with the idea of relating the two together, and that was it. That was the beginning of Gospel Prism. But the conversation you're talking about is, at the end of that, she said, I'm tired of getting emails and letters from you that are really well written, so write the novel, damn it. And she literally grabbed me by the shoulders. And
describe it to our listener, because it's got a very particular narrative.
It's basically sort of a gritty tale of what happens to this man in prison, but it's also, he's tasked with trying to find these various meanings with the different things that happen to him. And then in the process of that, he also uncovers the way that these works of great literature sort of fit into the things that happen to him, and they become sort of a way he finds wisdom or divine wisdom in great works of literature, the way some people find divine wisdom in holy books.
What struck me with one of those emails that you sent, or perhaps it was a conversation, you tell me, that you didn't want her to go to Syria.
When the book was finished on the 25th of January 2012, I sent it to her hard copy in this box. It's 400 pages. And then I started to write my second novel, and I would do the same thing. I'd get up and write to her. But one of the things I kept saying to her was, don't go to Syria. I know you want to go to Syria, because I knew that she always wanted to go where no one else would go. She prided herself on taking stories that other people were too afraid to take. And I knew that Syria was just calling to her like a siren. So like I said many times, don't go.
Did she respond to that?
Oh, no, she just sort of let that drop.
And the manuscript for Gospel Prism was found by her sister in this little rucksack that she had. And as we can imagine, she had very little belongings in a war zone like that. But this hefty manuscript belonging to you, she was lugging it around as she was traveling through Syria.
I still can't get over that. And it's this weird sort of honor and also a horrible reminder of how much I miss her, because it was just the way she was, to do something like that, to just grab this big honking box full of pages of my book. And I mean, she was dragging that thing through sewers and through these like 100-yard tunnels and over barbed wire fences. And I think she was close to me, close to the book, and she goes off on these trips when she's not facing horrible danger or having to meet her deadlines. I think she probably had a lot of time where she was just reading something that she had a personal interest in.
That's Gerald Weaver. His book, Gospel Prism, just published today, speaking about his longtime friend, Marie Colvin, one of the most celebrated war correspondents of this generation.